There we go. Bruins friends, you know what time it is. It is time to hug it out. Because that is a massive W against that the Bruins just pulled off against the Minnesota Wild. Thank you all so much for tuning in for this episode of Into the Den. My name is Andre Bex, and this was a really fun game to watch. I gotta admit, this was a really fun game to watch. Not just because this was the night, this was the game that we were. Not just because this is afternoon hockey and it's always good to get the blood pumping in the afternoon. I mean, sure, it's not as good as just sitting back with a beer in your hands and watching the game in the evening. But I mean, hey, matinee is a matinee, and not only was it just but this wasn't just any normal matinee. This was the game in which we honored one of the best defensemen to ever grace the NHL. And not only just one of the best defensemen, one of the best defensemen that the Bruins have ever had. The defenseman that got the Bruins back to being, that brought the Bruins back to their roots in being a chippy, in your face, hard-nosed defense team. Zdeno Chara. If you want to know why the Bruins are still sometimes struggle to play on offense, but are just so big and imposing and just tough on defense, it's this man. I don't mean to say that as an insult to Chara, by the way. I still love that hat trick he had, where he the one hat trick in his career back in like 2011, where he's like, throw the chapeaus, or whatever the hell Jack Edwards said during that. But Big Z came out, did the ceremonial puck drop, and this was kind of a weird game for the Bruins in terms of the starting roster, because Craig Smith, who's had a pretty bad start to the season with 2 healthy scratches, is after a not that great training camp in preseason. He ends up back in the starting lineup, knocking Studnicka down to pretty much our 13th man, alongside alongside AJ Greer, and also we've sort of swapped Matt Grzelcyk and Mike Riley's spots on the defense. So now Grzelcyk is on the top pair with Lindholm, at least until McAvoy comes back, and Mike Riley is now the top pair is Lindholm on the left hand and Grzelcyk on the right, and the bottom pair is now Riley on the left and Zaboral on the right. Honestly, I think this definitely plays to their. This definitely plays to Riley's strengths. I don't think Riley is that great in like a massive role, and also he strives a lot more on the left than he does the right. But that's beside the point. But let's get into the actual game. And Minnesota didn't really take too much time to not only mess up, but also clear up their mess up and take the lead, because Joel Eriksson ends up going for slashing less than a minute and a half into the game, and not long after that, Krejci, I forget if it was Krejci or Grzelcyk, who just gets absolutely pickpocketed on the line, just like. Actually, I don't even know if it's really pickpocketed. I think it's more someone beat them up for their freaking lunch money, and just Brandon Duhaime. But it wasn't even really stealing their lunch money. It was just beating them up for the sake of beating them up, and the lunch money just spills out. And Brandon Duhaime is the little henchman who comes by and takes the lunch money and just and spends it on a good meal. I don't know if this metaphor is making sense, but all I'm trying to say is that one of the two, either Grzelcyk or Krejci, got bullied at the line. Brandon Duhaime took the loose puck, went just burst through the neutral zone and into the Bruins zone and scored the first goal shorthanded. That was really convoluted and didn't need that much, and didn't need that stupid metaphor. So not only is our penalty kill not doing great, it not only is our power play not doing great, it's giving them more goals than it's given us this season. I think that what was it? I know that low quality Bruins fan was starting to count a little bit early. By the time overtime hit, we had 9 blown power plays. But damn, not great, not a great start to the season in terms of power play. But the Bruins end up getting it back with immediately after the power play ends, which is something that seems to happen quite a bit with the Bruins. Is that I noticed this last year and again this year, is we're not great on power play, but like we're good enough to cause them a good enough disruption while we're on the power play, so that we're able to still just we're still able to score like 10 seconds after the power play, which is exactly what happened here. Freaking who is it? Immediately after the penalty hits, ends, and Zacha has the puck and fires it around the backboards. God damn, I can't talk. Like it hits Hall on the other side, who passes it to the open space where Foligno is, and Foligno. We are 6 games into the season, and he already has more goals this season than he had in 64 last season. I think honestly, when the lineup is fully healthy, I think Foligno has earned himself a spot on the third line. And the Bruins have played really good with him this season, and later on that what was it? Later on this period, Taylor Hall absolutely blasts up the sideline and into the crease and passes across the crease to Pastrnak, who just completely waits out. I think it was Addison, and Fleury just tries to get the puck, and Pasta shoots it, just shoots on pretty much open net. And I know people like to. I know people were saying that, wow, that was a bad defensive breakdown on the Wild. But my friend Charlie, Z made a really good point in that, like, this is sort of standard for the Wild. Is that they had like a bunch of goals scored on them last season that in this exact same spot. It's just what they it's not really anything out of the ordinary. It's just something bad that happened. And let's be honest, the Bruins have had that problem. Have had that problem for the past few years as well. Where our goaltending also just kind of flops on the ground, and they're able to. Let's face it, every single team has had multiple goals scored on them like that, where someone who's patient just completely baits out everybody and wins. But that's beside the point. We're going into the second period of the Bruins are sort of really weird at the start of the second. It's sort of a mix of they want to play offense, but they also want to play defense as well. So we just get this weird duality of Hall and Pasta getting another insane breakaway. Fleury ended up saving that, and then immediately after, we're just turtling in our end. But that doesn't go too far because after another Bruins burst forward, I'm sorry that I'm stuttering a lot, but oh, sorry for that, but frick. I have notes on my phone. I'm sorry that I'm sort of just blanking. Just 1 second. Okay. I've centered myself. I'm back. All right. So, after another Bruins like burst forward, we end up Fleury ends up saving another shot, putting us up in the offensive zone on face-off, and from that face-off, Foligno ends up getting the puck. I think Zaka was the one that like back-checked it to Foligno, and Foligno passed it to Lindholm, who has absolutely open space, and he shoots it, and Marcus Foligno just does like a diving save to get in front of it, and it ends up working. Except Foligno gets except Lindholm ends up getting the puck again and scoring. So it's based. So it's like having having two in the chamber. Rather, it's like having two bullets loaded. You shoot once, and someone does the heroic diving save, and then you reveal, aha! I have my Gaga sister has another effect. Any of you who play Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links would get that one. Wires were crossed there for a second. That kind of pissed me off. But Boldy, Matt Boldy, the pride and glory of Millis, ends up hitting the sin bin for a bit for chipping the puck over the ice. Bruins, they do shit with it, so we're up to 9. And shortly after, Krejci ends up holding John Merrill enough to get a penalty. One thing that I noticed throughout this entire game, where was Kirill Kaprizov? Where was the best pick that the Boston Bruins have had in where was the best player taken with the Boston Bruins pick in 2015, Kirill Kaprizov? If you don't know about that, in 2015, the Boston Bruins had a fifth. After all the bullshit happened, and the Boston Bruins had a 5th round pick in 2015, and they ended up trading it to the Minnesota Wild for their 2016 5th round pick. The 5th round pick that the Bruins traded to the Wild would end up becoming Kirill Kaprizov. Not fun. But anyway, Tomas Nosek ends up getting, but like Kirill Kaprizov was no. I don't even know if he scored a point in this game. But it's like it's weird how someone who is that insane on offense ends up coming out pointless in a game. But Krejci ends up holding John Merrill enough for to trigger the penalty, especially because he did it right in front of a ref. Lindholm, you kind of got to stop doing that. You kind of got to stop taking penalties right in front of refs. Nosek ends up stealing the puck away in the neutral zone and just driving towards the net. But Kalen Addison ends up checking Nosek off his skates and into the goalpost. Him and Fleury are both a little bit shaken up, as you could probably understand that. Later on in that same penalty, Matt Zuccarello and Matt Boldy. Frick, that is annoying. Matt Zuccarello and Matthew Boldy are passing the puck a lot, and just like you take it, like the bomb scene in like the bomb joke between Stitch and one of those other aliens in Lilo and Stitch. But Zuccarello ends up finding a perfect seam pass for Boldy to pass it, and Boldy stick deflects the puck into the net past Allmark to bring the lead down to 2. Sorry. Into the third period we go. The Bruins end up getting a 3-on-1 against Matt Dumba, and we still can't make it happen. I know Fleury won the Vezina like 2 years ago, but still, we have a 3-on-1. The only player there is Matt Dumba, and I know Matt Dumba is freaking amazing. I love Matt Dumba. Is a great defenseman. I love Matt Dumba, but you have a 3-on-1, and not only do you not score, but Craig Smith ends up taking a high sticking penalty on that. So, face off in the Bruins zone. Minnesota does a really good job of keeping the puck in our zone. And we end up getting the most obvious kicking motion ever. I love you, Matt Boldy. That is a kick. That is a kick. That dude forgot that he was playing hockey and started playing soccer. And hey, Matt, if you were playing soccer as a kid, I think I might have played you. I don't know. Maybe. I'm not sure. But what does this end up triggering? Nearly 5 minutes where the Bruins are nearly 5 consecutive minutes where over 5 minutes where the Bruins are over 5 consecutive minutes where the Bruins are on the penalty kill. Because with 15 seconds left on Craig Smith's high ticking penalty, freaking Connor Clifton goes to the bin for cross checking. So they get 15 seconds of a 5-on-3. Then with a minute left on Clifton's penalty, and with Omar absolutely going off of Hampus Lindholm ends up hooking someone, which means we're back on 5-on-3. And somehow, it all turns out fine. It all turns out fine because they don't use Kirill Kaprizov on 5-on-3. I don't know why. I don't know why they didn't use Kirill Kaprizov. They're the best. I don't know why they didn't use one of the best pure goal scorers in a situation where they absolutely needed a goal and had several opportunities where the ice was significantly more open and had less obstacles in the way. So where was Kaprizov? Where was Kaprizov? I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter because Jared Spurgeon ends up capitalizing off of Bruins' defensive breakdown. I didn't see it. I think I was taking a shit and the streaming service that I was using because is freaking what is it? Because NHL66.ir is now requiring a freaking VPN to use. It's dumb. Jared Spurgeon ends up nailing his 100th goal in the league on off a defensive breakdown. I forget because if it was Jared Spurgeon, because I know in the NHL app it went down as a Jonas Brodin goal. Which I would have loved a lot more than a Jared Spurgeon goal. But also, Jack Edwards said it was a Jared Spurgeon goal. I don't know who to believe on this one. And I guess I will look it up just right. Okay, so it went down as a Jared Spurgeon goal. And with 37 seconds left, I don't think I've ever seen. I've seen people mad on the hockey rink on the ice before. I don't think I've ever seen someone get this mad over something they clearly did. Other than literally any time that a Lightning player takes a penalty because actually I will save that for the first time the Bruins play the Lightning. But Matt Dumba is so fucking pissed about going to the box for just blatantly holding Nick Foligno's stick. He just traps it under his arm and grabs it. And he's like, what the fuck is going on? I'll tell you what's going on. You're going to the penalty box for 2 minutes, buddy. Bruins can't really do much with it in the 37 seconds left in the third period. We're going to overtime, where we got 1 minute 24 seconds left of the penalty to go through. And guess what? We don't do anything. The streak goes to 10, and we get like a solid 45 seconds of 4-on-4, because nowadays is in the NHL, if you have a penalty in the if you kill a penalty in the in overtime, instead of both teams needing to go to 3-on-3, it instead goes to 4-on-4 until the next whistle, until the next stoppage of play. Whereas, almost immediately after the next stoppage of play, which happens with like 2 minutes left in the game, in overtime, Kirill Kaprizov does something useful. Unfortunately, it's not for the Wild, because he goes to the box for tripping, with 2 minutes 3 seconds left on the clock, meaning the Bruins have almost the entire rest of overtime to score a goal, and we almost don't, because Marc-Andre Fleury just goes super Oingo Boingo mode and just stops everything until Krejci just nudges the puck to Pastrnak right in front of the net, who passes across the crease right to Taylor Hall to score on a pretty much wide open net as Fleury is discombobulated and pretty much flopped on the floor, and just boom. I gotta say that rustle of the net was one of the most satisfying things I've seen from the Bruins as far this season. So the Bruins win that game, and we are now 5-1-0. And I gotta say, I'm feeling pretty good. I know I said that Anaheim was this was definitely sort of a trap game, because I think we all know after that Ottawa game not to take anyone lightly, because they have a bad record. And especially not Minnesota. Minnesota is a lot better than their record suggests. And it's like, for as much of a non-issue he was in this game, of Kirill Kaprizov, one of the best goal scorers in the entire league. Ryan Hartman, Joel Eriksson, amazing forward. Matt Boldy has all the makings of a top six forward. And then on defense, you got Dumba, you got Brodin, you got Addison, you got that entire team is great, including in net. You got Marc-Andre Fleury, again, someone who won the Vezina like 2 years ago. Amazing roster. I don't know how well the Wild are gonna. I don't know how well the Wild are gonna pan out for the rest of the season, but I'm happy to say that this is the first time that I've made a video about the Bruins beating the Wild. And the Bruins' next game is on Tuesday against the Dallas Stars, and this is fun, because this is basically going down on my list of hockey Twitter friends, and this is basically going down my hockey Twitter list of friends to go down to face all their favorite teams, because this one it was Charlie. Next up it's Scott. Next up it's Endless Sky. Love you guys. You guys are great. With that said, I'm not really scared about Dallas. I think that Dallas is I don't think Dallas is going to be doing all too great. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Just like if you like, subscribe if you like. Down below is my Twitch is my Twitch channel and my TikTok. Streaming. Catch me live probably tonight. I will probably be streaming Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel and probably a reaction to dumb shit on YouTube. Take care, everybody.